Hi guys, how you doing? How's it going today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today I am doing another haul in retrospect. It is going over all the things that I brought in to my collection in November of last year. So November 2021. I'd like to do these just to kind of gauge what I maybe could spend money on and what I definitely should not be spending money on, and the things that I still have in my collection that I have yet to use that I was so excited to bring into my collection at one point in time. I like to do these to really kind of put myself in my place. I also do these because I had a friend come to me at one point in time and say, hey, you know, you haul in all these things, but then you never tell anybody how you like them or give them any kind of review on them. This is the perfect way for me to tell you how I feel about the things that I brought into my collection at some point in time, and I hope that you're here for it. And if you are, please keep on watching. For those of you new here, hi, my name is Donna. I'm a lover of all things high-end, colorful beauty and self-care. I also work in the beauty industry as a field leader for Ulta Beauty. I get a lot of education in my position. I like to bring you that education here on my platform through things like reviews. But ultimately, I'm just out here talking about makeup because I enjoy talking about makeup, and I am assuming that if you're here, you also like to talk about makeup. So let's do this thing together. Let's do this thing together. So I hope that you're in for a haul in retrospect, because that's what we've got going on today. And if not, I've got about 900 videos for you to choose from. I'm sure that you can find something that you love here on my channel. And I hope that you'll want to subscribe before you go. So with that said, let's roll into this haul in retrospect. I have a lot sitting in front of me that I need to talk to you about. All right, so there was quite a lot of stuff that I brought into my collection last year. I am going to focus these haul and retrospects on the things that I am bringing in purposefully, so the things that I am spending money on, because I did receive quite a bit that were gifts from my mom, gratis stuff from like my Clinique business partner. I also just received gratis overall. So I can mention the gifts that I received and where I'm at, but I don't have those all. I didn't collect everything. There's probably about 90 items that I wrote down, and I collected the things that I spent money on to go over with you today. So first and foremost, I hauled in for the Sephora holiday event haul that I did, and I hauled in for overall, excluding the Sephora holiday event purchases that I made also. So I did go back, watch those two videos, and find the items that I had received in those two hauls, the items that I purchased money on. And I want to go over those with you today. So first and foremost is the Cinema Secrets Makeup Brush Cleanser. You guys are probably tired of hearing me talk about this at this point. This is my favorite makeup brush cleanser. It is very quick drying. It has kind of a chemically vanilla scent, so it's not super offensive, doesn't smell like a bunch of chemicals. It's really gentle to your brushes, and it kills 99.9% of the bacteria that is on a brush, and I use it every single day as my makeup brush cleanser because I clean my brushes between each use. I have not found that my brushes are falling apart because of this cleanser. I'm not going to continue to go on about this cleanser because you guys hear me talk about it all the time. It's always in my empties, and it's always in my hauls from Sephora because I purchase it about twice a year, and I go through a bottle about once every 6 months. I always buy the big bottle because I do use it every single day, and I will continue to repurchase that. Next, I had these. These are the Danessa Myricks Twin Flames. I have to be honest with you, I like these a lot more than I like her palette, the Lightwork Volume 3 Experience palette that I have with her. I love this. This is the kind of multi-chromes that I don't have from another brand, and I don't necessarily think her multi-chrome powders are the best ones out there. So I do love these. There's no creasing with these, no voiding. They're really easy to use. I love these so much. I did end up getting the shades True Love and then also Sweetheart. So Sweetheart is kind of like a green to yellow to kind of like a fiery red multi-chrome. And then True Love is the, you know, purple to turquoise to green one that is in her collection. And both of them are stunning. Both of them are stunning. I would repurchase these in a heartbeat, and I kind of actually want to purchase more, but I know me, and I know that I just don't use liquid shadows enough to have 50 of those in my collection, and I have somewhere around 18 right now, so I'm trying to get through a bunch of those. Next, I have the Fenty 4-pack of glosses. So she always comes out with these glossy posses around the holiday season, and for last holiday, it was these three here with a cream full size. So you got 3 minis and a cream full size, and the minis are in...
I can't read them. Use the magnifying glass on my phone because I'm so dang old and my eyesight is shot.
They all end in Fantasy. So Champ Stamp Fantasy, which is kind of like a peachy champagne color. Then we have Hot Chocolate Fantasy, which is kind of like this like red, orange, brown. And then we have Fenty Glow Fantasy, which is the typical like kind of like almost orange peachiness that is her regular original. And then the full-size cream came in the shade Cupcaken, which is just a really pretty pink neutral nude shade. I have not used one of those. Not one. And I think the biggest reason is because the minis kind of get lost in my lip gloss collection. I brought my lip gloss container over here to show you guys how many lip glosses I have, and it's shameful. It's shameful. It's so deep, and there are so many in here that they got lost in my collection, so I forget about them, so I haven't worn them. And then the cream one, it doesn't necessarily get lost. All of my Fenty lip glosses are on one side of that container. I don't know why I haven't used this yet, but this reminds me that they're in my collection and that I need to get some use out of them. And I love doing these videos because then my subsequent Shop My Stash usually has some of those items that I haven't used yet in it. So this will remind me to pull it in a Shop My Stash, because that is one of my favorite lip gloss formulas. I will continue to buy Fenty lip glosses. I don't know why I haven't used any of those yet. I also bought the Pat McGrath Divine Blush and Glow Trio in Galactic Sun from the holiday collection from Pat McGrath. And this is what it looks like. Beautiful. This is, bar none, the most used purchase from this, you know, Sephora haul. I used these two blushes so much. This highlight isn't my favorite, but it's also not a bad highlight. I love this. This is one of my favorite things in my collection. So I am glad to have purchased that, and I won't be getting rid of that, and I would purchase more. The funny thing is that I also have a single of the Divine Rose blushes, and I think that the single is a different formula than what is in here, but I like them both, but I think the single is maybe a slight bit better, which is the case for many brands that do like holiday sets, but I do love this. Even though it seems like it's maybe a little bit different than the other one. I also bought the Midnight Sun palette from Pat McGrath, and this is about the time that I started feeling a little bit like I needed some cool tone shadows in my life. And this is actually a lot more warm than I thought that it was via pictures on the internet, but it's still just a beautiful eyeshadow palette. This shade right here is, God, so pretty. It's like this really pretty like lavender periwinkle, like sparkliness. It's just gorgeous. I love this palette. This green, beautiful. It does have some neutrals in it, and you know, kind of like on the lens, through the lens of like a cool tone palette, it does lean a little bit that way, but it is definitely more warm tone. But I have gotten some use out of it. I love it. It kind of renewed my thought process on Pat McGrath, because I've said for a very long time that Pat McGrath is not where it's at, in my humble opinion, as far as eyeshadows go. But I really did love this eyeshadow palette. I have 3 of these kind of palettes from her now, and I love them now more than I used to when I first got my first one. I didn't know what I was doing, had no business picking up Pat McGrath, let's be real. I love that palette. It is a beautiful palette, and I have gotten some use out of it, and I want to pull for it, which tells you that a palette needs to stay in your collection. The last thing I got from that Sephora haul was the Natasha Denona Biba palette. This is an all neutral eyeshadow palette, and it's got a little bit of like beigey letters in here. I think you can kind of see the word neutral across here, but all is also across here. It is her all neutral eyeshadow palette, and it is stunning. It is stunning. It is neutral, just isn't my bag. I mean, look at my eye looks are typically very colorful. I tell everybody in my intro that I am a lover of all things high-end, colorful beauty and self-care. Neutral usually isn't my thing, but man, I love this palette so much. It is perfection because it's got like warm and cool tones of neutrals. It's got like kind of this yellowy orangey row, and then it's got this like rose colored row, and then it's got this like gray row. So it's got a little bit of everything in it, and it's got some shimmers, but it's matte heavy. I love that about a palette. I love shimmers, do not get me wrong, but I am a matte lover, and I need more mattes to shimmers, or a half and half mix. This has more mattes to shimmers. It's got beautiful formulations in it. I love it. Both of these palettes, I have a palette roulette on, so I will link those up in the cards for you guys. But I really think as far as Sephora hauls go, this was one of my more successful. Even though I haven't used any of these lip glosses yet, I will get use out of those lip glosses. They're not going to go bad anytime soon. It's one of my favorite lip gloss formulas, and the rest I have used every single thing. So then we move over to the haul that I got at Ulta, because I did pick up some stuff from Ulta during that time frame as well. One of the first things that I have on the list is the Makeup Eraser Puff Pack that I purchased. You can see by these still super, super white puffs, I have not used them. But I use this to clean my reusable like pads, my reusable cotton pads. I stick in this, and I use this to wash them in the washing machine every single week. So this actually has gotten a lot of use from me because I use this all the time. So really happy to have put this into my collection, even though I haven't used these at all. I will probably one day. They have like this like texture on one side and puff on the other. I just need to figure out what I'm gonna use them for. Powder, I don't know. So I haven't used them yet, but I will. The next thing I have on here is the Glamnetic nails and glue that I purchased. I don't like nails. I don't know why I purchased this stuff, if I'm honest. Like, my nails, 90% of the time, are natural and short. Why did I purchase this stuff? Probably for the same reason that I purchased this dip kit here that's got a heavy layer of dust on it, because I don't use it. I got the dip must-haves kit because I was gonna paint my nails, and I was gonna do like this new thing that was not new, but fad thing that was on the market, and dip my nails and these powders. I bought 3 powders in the whole kit. I haven't used any of that. Dumb purchases. Let's talk some more about dumb purchases. I also purchased a couple of tools. Have I mentioned that skin tools scare the bejesus out of me? I have this brand new Dermaflash and Blade kit that I haven't used. I purchased these. These were not cheap, and I took it out of its package to look at it, but that's as far as it got. This one hasn't even come out of its package yet. This is the Dermaflash Dermapore Pore Extractor and Serum Infuser. I do skincare every single day. Why am I not using this? I think that's the end of the stupid things that I purchased at Ulta Beauty, because the rest of it I have used. This is a, you know, beauty blender, like travel accessory for your sponges. So you can put your sponge in here and carry around your sponge without getting up close to anything else, still giving it the opportunity to air dry. I do use this. I use this all the time. I travel every week for work, or most weeks for work, so I do use this all the time. And the sponge that came with it, I believe, is this one, which you can see by how puffy it is. It is in use current. I just put it into use though. This sponge is not a year old. Well, the sponge is a year old, but it hasn't been being used for a year. I do get rid of my sponges as soon as they start to crack open, so that one just came into use a couple weeks ago actually. I also purchased at that time 2 Tree Hut scrubs. I always have Tree Hut scrubs. They are my favorite body exfoliator in the shower, so I no longer have the 2 that I purchased, but I always have Tree Hut scrubs in my bathroom, in my shower, and in my drawers for backup, always. So I would always repurchase those. I did purchase some EO shave cream at that time too, and I believe that this is probably the last time that I purchased an EO shave cream, because I've gotten to where I really, really love the Tree Hut shave oils instead of creams. They just keep the parts that of my body that I shave more moisturized, I guess. It holds in the moisture better than a cream does, or soap, or, you know, anything else. And my legs don't come out of a shave feeling chafed and looking lizardy like they did with the creams. The EO shave cream was very hydrating, but I think that the Tree Hut like shower shave oil just does a much better job of keeping everything moisturized. So I won't probably repurchase that as long as I can purchase a shave oil instead. Lash individuals, I have used several of these. I really do like putting lashes on the ends of my eyes, like on the outer corner out here, just to kind of lift my eye just a little bit. So I have used these. The first couple times I used them, I hated them. You can see that there are several different pairs, different sets, singles, whatever, used out of this. I do have quite a few left that I can use. I'm wearing like strip lashes that I have cut straight across. I find those easier to use than these, to be honest, but I do like these for sure. I don't know that I would repurchase another pack of them, though. I just don't use them enough. Obviously, this has been in my collection now for a year. So I also have on here the Lancome Lash Primer. This was just in my empties. I'll link that video up above. I was mortified to figure out that I had been using that lash primer for as long as I had been using that lash primer. You should never use something that goes on your eyes that is a cream, or, you know, at least for me, I try and throw away like my mascaras and my primers and all the things, like at least 6 months tops. I had been using that for quite some time, obviously, if it was purchased a year ago. So I did put it into my empties. It was starting to dry out. I did think that it was probably getting a little bit old. It was in my empties that I just went through with you guys, I think last week or the week before. I also purchased the MAC Painterly Paint Pot. So this is a eye primer paint pot. Again, this is a year old. It is a cream item. It doesn't stink though. I didn't open this until I think probably 3 months ago or so. It's not my favorite. I thought that I was going to love it because the soft ochre one, which is what I wore before this, is a little bit too yellow in my humble opinion. But this is a little bit too like peachy, and honestly, putting it on my skin, I think makes it look a little bit gray. And so I don't 100% love it, but I am using it. Still is really emollient, honestly. I also picked up a couple of brushes. So I have the MAC fan brush. This is the 140S. And I love this brush because it is big and fluffy, but it's also thin and squished. The ferrule is really squished, so kind of like oval and then splayed out. I love this for bronzer and or contour. Like if I'm doing a contour powder, I love to use this as a contour powder brush. I love this brush. It's a really nice brush, very soft. This was the first MAC brush I ever owned. And then as far as cosmetics, I had this foundation brush that I bought. So Raw Beauty Christy talks about these foundation brushes. I do love this foundation brush. I do not think that she is lying to anybody. The shape of it, I don't necessarily think it looks like a heart from the top, but I do think that it is nice and dense enough that it doesn't like carry all the foundation down into the rest of the brush. It all just kind of sits up here at the top in the soft part, and then just buffing it into your skin. It feels good and it does a really great job because it's, I don't know what it is about it. It's like magic in a brush. I feel like also it cleans really well, whereas some brushes that are super dense like this don't necessarily get 100% clean. And I love the sound it makes because there's little like glitters, little hearts in the handle. So it's a fun brush. And I got it because of Raw Beauty Christy, and I would repurchase it, to be honest. So those are all the things that I purchased and brought into my collection. I did, of course, haul some things in that were probably pretty stupid of me to haul in. The Dermaflash things being the most ridiculous because those were damn expensive. Like the nail kit, I'm sure I or my daughter will get use out of it at some point. Overall, everything else was real good spin. I was shocked, honestly, to see that there wasn't any makeup that I purchased from Ulta, but I did get a lot of gifts that were makeup. So I have, quite the list here. In gratis, I got some Clarins samples and then a whole bunch of things from Clinique. So like the Clinique Take the Day Off Balm, best balm cleanser on the planet. I use it every single day. I got the Clinique Moisture Surge Spray Moisturizer. I got the Clinique Moisture Surge Lip. I got a high impact mascara. And then I got some of their happy fragrances, cookies, and another one I can't remember. And then Clinique, I got also the Vitamin C, the Pep Start, and the Super Defense skincare from them. And then I also got Black Honey, which I think currently is in my purse. I love that lip gloss, lipstick. My mom got me a Murad moisturizer, which I used right away. I love Murad moisturizers. She got me a hair serum, a Dr. Brandt eye cream. She gave me a bunch of stuff from her BoxyCharms that she had subscribed to at that point in time. The Glowdient highlight from, I think it's Touch and Soul. So gorgeous. Glam Glow cleanser, which is currently in my bathroom. She gave me the Alamar Complexion Trio that I just decluttered because it just doesn't suit my skin tone. Ciate Shadow Flip, which I used up entirely. That was also in my empties. She gave me the $1 Billion Brows Brow Pencil, which I believe I put into a giveaway not that long ago. A Mellow Lip Gloss, which I still have. Glamnetic Liner, which is up here. I haven't broken open yet, but I do have some Glamnetic lashes that also she gave to me in this thing that I would love to give a try to now that I'm wearing lashes more. She gave me the Glam Glow the plumping highlight that I just went over in my highlight collection in Declutter, which I will link up in the cards also, and I love that. So there was a lot that was given to me, a lot of makeup, which kind of helps me understand why I don't think I purchased all that much last November, to be honest. And I think going into 2022 and looking at these haul and retrospects, like it's going to be odd because I spent the first 5 months of the year not really purchasing anything. So really happy to do these haul in retrospects. It, like I said, kind of puts me in my place as far as what I'm spending, helps me understand that sometimes I make dumbass decisions and then I'm terrified to use the product. That's what the problem is with these Dermaflash items. I'm terrified to use them. So I want to use them. I'm scared. That's just how it goes. I love doing these. Let me know if you also like these, you guys. I like going through and telling you just how I feel about the products that I have had in my collection for a year and have been using for a good amount of time, and really like honing in on the money that I'm spending. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. Do you remember what you purchased last year? Do you still have it in your collection? Have you used it up? I would love to hear from you guys down in the comment section. Hit me up down there. Also, I just hope that you guys are staying warm out there, because I know it's cold for us here. I have to imagine it's also cold for a lot of us, right? Because it's a winter time frame for a lot of us. I know that for some of us it's not, but for, you know, us in the States, it's definitely winter. Please stay warm out there. Please stay safe, stay healthy, love each other from afar, all that stuff. Thank you guys so much, and until next time, bye.